Love Hurts, the hit new February film for Valentine's Day, just in time. Is it a comedy, a thriller, an action movie? Who knows? Well, definitely not the people who wrote this. The main actor in this film is possibly the second most wholesome man of all time, especially after his Oscar-winning performance in one of my favorite movies ever, Everything Everywhere All at Once. But enough about that. What is Love Hurts about? Love Hurts is about an assassin turned realtor after he left a life of crime behind to nurture a more comfy civilian life. When an old acquaintance shows up, whom everyone from the crime organization presumed dead, to stir the old pot. So Ariana DeBose and Kwan's character can face their past together and stop hiding from it. Premise, amazing. I am in love with this idea. It is like sort of a, what if James Bond was in retirement, but he had to get pulled out of it, was sort of my thinking of it. Does it pull it off well? No, unfortunately not. This is a very below average movie. Now, that's not to say there aren't great moments, especially the action and Kwan's performance are incredible. He puts his heart and soul into this movie, and you can tell. In the action especially, you can tell they had so much fun figuring out how to do all the different action angles, what every fight would entail. Like, one of my favorite things about the fights is it has this sort of John Wick Yakuza feeling to it, where it's sort of, you know, pick up these random things around you and how do we use this little thing as a weapon? How do we use a boba straw as a weapon? How do we use binders and pieces of paper and pens and pencils as weapons? That in itself, I think, is well worth at least checking out the movie for, if it weren't for what holds it back the most, and that is, unfortunately, Ariana's character performance and the story itself. Ariana's performance just ain't it. I'm sorry. I looked through her IMDb. She is more of a recent actress, but I don't know if it is entirely her fault. It just feels like, to study up for her character, they told her, go home, watch all 4 seasons of Harley Quinn, the show, and then spend a weekend with the guy who wrote the Harley Quinn fart comic. Now, it seems like I'm exaggerating a little bit, right? But I think what proves this point the most, and you can't really see it in the trailer because all the trailer has are the very few moments where she's turned down to a 7, and when everyone else is at a 7, you gotta stay there. But for 90% of the film, she is shooting it up to an 11, overacting, overperforming, not giving off the right energy for any of her lines. It's that over-the-top Harley Quinn thing that a lot of producers are trying to replicate with the popularity of that character, and it just does not work here. Now, going back to the second thing I said, we have the very rushed story. The story overall just doesn't really make any sense. Like I said, premise, amazing, I love it. Kwan's character ends up going to be a realtor. It's been years. He gets this award that he's doing so fantastic out of it. And then this girl that he wasn't really involved with, he just felt bad for her. He was told to kill her. He decides not to. And he was like, hey, look, go into hiding and I'm going to be a realtor. That's it. We're both out of the picture. Perfect. And then years later, she just decides, actually, I don't want to hide anymore. So I'm going to kind of screw you over because I don't want to hide. And she keeps saying it as if he's hiding, but he's not. He enjoys what he's doing. He's forced to come out of it to save her ass. And it's really stated very well at the end of the movie. All he had to do was kill her. And that really would have solved all of his problems. I'm supposed to sympathize with Ariana's character, but all she's doing is screwing over the main character. But what irritates me the most is that she complains about hiding. She doesn't want to be hiding for the rest of her life, which is an understandable plot point. But the issue is that at the beginning of the movie, she's hiding out. She's living inside of this bar. Then we go through the whole story. We end up killing the main character's brother to get out of this crime boss situation. And then when we finally achieve this goal, she goes back to living at the bar. So what changed? Nothing changed. So you basically just wanted to screw this main guy over. You completely screwed over all of his realtor stuff, and now he's back to being a killer. but now he's not getting paid for it. Now he's got to live in a bar for the rest of his life. His boss was murdered via boba straw. Like, it's just a really dumb story that it seems like they came up with the premise, they started filming without an ending. You have these really random side plots where one of the goons writes poems and he falls in love with one of the realtor co-workers, and they have a whole thing. And then there's a couple other half-baked goons with very poor storytelling. Like I said, Quant's performance is incredible. The action is amazing. It's done so well. But the rest of it was just not there. The writing needed to be scrapped and completely started over. Unfortunately, this is a very below average movie. I'm going to give this an unfortunate 4 out of 10. Thank you guys so much for watching. Catch me on next week's Movie of the Week review. See you then. Subscribe and like for more. Bye-bye.